Just do something. Just do something. Just do something. When I look at a Bitcoin chart, when I look at crypto charts, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And when I'm thinking that, and this is Bitcoin on the daily, right? This is like the end of June. We're at the beginning of August right now. This has been just grueling. It's kind of that question. Will there be some type of catalyst that could just make Bitcoin do something one way or the other? And there are certainly catalysts that could do this. If we just look at this chart, and we're going to talk about one of those catalysts, potentially a bullish one that could push Bitcoin out of this consolidation. It's higher high, higher low consolidation. But if we look at this chart, check it out. Price range wise, from the beginning of this consolidation all the way back here in November to where we are right now, we're looking at like, well, that's price range. We need some date range. We need some date range. Date range wise, what we're looking for is 278 days. 278 days of consolidation for Bitcoin. Higher highs and higher lows, of course. It's been a nice exit out of the bear market. But 278 days we've been basically forming this rising wedge. And notice right now, Bitcoin is pretty much in the apex of the rising wedge at this crazy moment of consolidation. Look at the 50-day, the 20-day kind of wrapping around each other, everything being squeezed. And this historically is just such a strong squeezing for Bitcoin. The other thing on this chart, if you notice, also over 200 days of consolidation really is kind of this head and shoulders. This could be a concerning setup for Bitcoin. I've talked about it before. Breakout target to the downside around 21,000, whether you're looking at the head and shoulders or you're looking at the rising wedge, 21,000. Not to mention, we do have this 50-week moving average in blue around 23, 24,000 as a potential support area if Bitcoin's going to trickle down and we're going to see a move down. But in this video, I want to explore the potential move for Bitcoin to actually do the opposite, right? And that is to say, we're not going to break the neckline of the head and shoulders. We're not going to break this lower trend line. We're going to actually start cruising up and start putting in another swing high, a higher high. So hit that like button on the way in and let's just kind of explore that potential, right? There's catalysts for downside and there are some for upside. In this video, I want to discuss one. I want to start real quick. This is Kevin Svensson over on Twitter from the other day. I should say on X the other day. He's just basically charting a weekly chart, S&P 500 on the top, Bitcoin on the bottom. There's a correlation is pretty much the main point. There are certain anomalies, I guess you could say, in terms of sometimes Bitcoin just goes up and S&P's down, right? He has one on here where there was that bank run and Bitcoin was going up, S&P was down. There's certain things like that, but overall the trend is the same. There's correlation here. And I bring that up because it's important to always remember that. It's important, I think, in analyzing what's going to be next for crypto markets to really keep an eye on what's going on with traditional markets, S&P. Here's a headline, though, from today. CPI data came out today. September will be a skip. Nothing in CPI data backs rate hike next month. So now there's speculation that there will not be a rate hike in September. What does that do to traditional markets? Right here is a daily chart, S&P 500, fairly new. This is a daily green candle happening right now. So this could play into the narrative, the bullish narrative Bitcoin might need to see a move to the upside in the coming weeks. In relation to this news, U.S. inflation came in as expected with monthly gains of 0.2% for both headline and core CPI. The annual rates are now 3.2 and 4.7. These numbers will come as a relief to those who worried that the July data would already reflect price pass-throughs from higher energy and food prices. What does this kind of mean? They will reinforce the majority market view that the Fed will refrain from hiking in September. The implied probability of a hike dropped from some 15% to below 10% following the CPI data release. So we're below 10% implied probability that there will be a rate hike in September. All in all, markets, they like that type of thing, right? The markets want rate hikes to basically end, no more. So when we see data that comes out and it starts kind of playing into that narrative, well, here's the S&P 500 right now on the daily, right? So that gives you a sense. What does this do in the more midterm? How does this affect the charts? This is what we'll monitor. But going over here to the Bitcoin chart, the reason it becomes important, and for crypto in general, this is the roadmap chart, right? The reason it becomes important is because we're continuing to monitor this 20-week moving average. Bitcoin is just above it. It's like $28,600 or so. That green line, the 20-week moving average, this is where Bitcoin has seen the higher highs and higher lows just above it. And comparatively, especially if we look at time frame perspective where we are in the cycles, this red box, that last cycle, when we were at the similar area of the red box, Bitcoin broke below the 20-week moving average. I talked about this in a previous video probably multiple times. That's the move we're trying to avoid, right? And basically you can see Bitcoin fell and trickled down over a course of months. This is a weekly chart to the 50-week moving average. That's in play. Anybody that's saying that's not in play, a fall like that for Bitcoin pulling into the 50-week moving average, I think that's crazy not to realize how much in play that is. How not fun it will be, but how realistic that is. That's there. Now, if in the shorter to midterm, this narrative kind of starts moving traditional markets to the upside, and we just looked at the S&P, maybe S&P 500 getting ready to see another higher high, well, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. This could be the case for Bitcoin to make a move not only to the upper trend line, you can see right around $30,100 for Bitcoin, and that's not far. That's like a 4 to 5% move, I believe. If we're measuring this, we're looking at, around a 4 to 5% move to the upper trend line. Not only that, but just a breakout to the upside out of that trend line. And that would be to say we're breaking this previous swing high that we had over here in July. Breakout target to the upside, just to give you a sense on the longer term. It's not like an immediate thing, but we're looking around $43,000 for Bitcoin right now, trading around $30,000. That's a very big move. Some areas of resistance in the way, obviously. You can see this general area of resistance, this trend line area, and it really is confluent with this upper trend line of this pattern, right? So we're looking at around, $31,000 to $32,000, big area of resistance. And then we have this kind of new trend line, this yellow trend line, higher high trend line, right around 34 to 35,000. That could be a big area of resistance. To give you a sense of what that looks like from a price range perspective, to the upper trend line, we're looking at 4 to 5% move. To this yellow trend line, we're looking at around a 16% move for Bitcoin. Again, not overnight, but potentially just a new trend, higher highs, higher lows in the short term for Bitcoin. And the area target to the upside around 45%, 46% to the upside. Again, this would be in this move of momentum to the upside. Some type of new structure other than this just grueling, just sideways that Bitcoin has been in, right? So a breakout and then some type of new structure that could lead Bitcoin up to that area. That could play off of what traditional markets do. And that could be because of what is going on with this narrative over the next month or two. No rate hikes in September. Nobody knows whether or not this will actually play out or not, but that's the narrative right now. And if that picks up steam, it will be very interesting to see what Bitcoin does, what crypto does. And that's what I'll be watching in the short term as it relates to that one thing, right? So that's the thing. There are other things happening in crypto. There are other things happening in the world. There are other things happening in traditional markets. So that's one thing. That's one driver, but that's one thing that I'll be watching. Everybody, I appreciate you cruising through. I hope you're having a good week so far. I'm finally back into it, into the groove, back to the crypto content, doing videos again. I was away, little road trip with the family. It was awesome, huge blessing, but I hope you're doing well out there. I'll see you all in the next video. Have an awesome day. God bless.